Informational. So I said,
Moving right along, you know?
Good. That's awesome.
What do you have? You have Lincoln coming up now, or is it Jefferson?
all the meetings coming up.
Jefferson. Oh, no, Roosevelt. Theodore. Roosevelt.
I just gotta be careful where I go.
Mary Todd's coming next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Is she bringing her cycling with her?
She's bringing her cray-cray. She's bringing her crazy.
She was like a spiritual.
Is that right?
There was a story in St. Charles which is that she stayed there a couple of times because there was like some, some advisor that she like really trusted to like tell her.
Did she not live in Chicago?
Yeah.
She was kind of...
And that was, well, Robert Todd had her committed.
Yeah, right.
And then she got an attorney, and she actually got her competency declared back.
Is that right?
Yeah. Mary Todd.
Wish to go. Interesting history.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't as crazy as they all...
No, I mean, it's like everything, there's perspective.
But she's never... Actually, she's well portrayed in the
new movie. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Hi. I'm doing good.
Good?
Better.
Better.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to take my place. I don't want to...
You get run over if you're up here too long.
That's cool. That one was like tweets. The one that's really, who wouldn't do these? I only got 60
I am. I've got a few minutes here, but I've got it. I'll let you know. 3 minutes to
no
go.
reason for what he did. He all he had to do was come. I feel you're too big of a risk. That's wrong.
Good to see you.
Look at the agenda.
Yeah, I know. It's all...
Yeah, right.
Oh, there she is. Okay, I didn't see her.
Oh, you need There's good ones around here. Depends, but there's guys that specialize in these, other guys specialize in.
He's vacation.
They're all political. Okay, I was gonna.
You're gonna what?
I'm not gonna do anything.
I'm gonna just let him do the pledge.
Yeah, right.
1 year and then.
Yeah, you want to get him on the phone? You want me to get him on the phone?
Sure. No, George. No, thank you.
Yeah, I want you about it. Yeah, we can do that.
It's all right, George, thanks. Appreciate the offer.
Yeah, right.
And I don't want to call out Mark because I always skip him.
That was the last one.
Yeah, and I was the one before that, so.
So you're gonna start over that side.
Yes, maybe orange. Give me orange or Jack.
1 more minute. But I'll do it. Yeah.
But I go to those
Get
guys
ready.
that's across the street from.
I might just sing this time.
I gotta push the button too.
That's right.
That's the guy who screwed me up.
Which Jack?
Great.
Great.
That's right.
Mr.
So I went to
Oh,
Sue.
you too, huh?
There's another guy, orthopedic specialist, he's over in Building 2 by the hospital. And I'm happy with this guy, he did a good job. And he knew my problems before in there because I was a high risk going in there and everything, you know. And I did have some problems on the table. Which they anticipated.
Watched clock.
Frank does it.
George, I played trumpet.
7.
Let's call the meeting order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak?
Here.
Trustee Conley?
Here.
Trustee Sullivan?
Present.
Trustee Dunham?
Here.
Trustee Madej?
Present.
Trustee Daly absent. President Larson?
Here. This time I'd like to ask Trustee Dunham to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Dunham. Yes, sir. Motion's in order regarding the minutes of the March meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Move to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a list of bills for ratification and approval. Any corrections, deletions, additions? If not, any motions in order?
Move to approve the expenditures as presented.
Second.
Move to second to approve expenditures as presented. Will the clerk please poll the board?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madey.
Aye.
Trustee Daly absent.
We have a quorum. This time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Joe Podlasek to commemorate the 13th anniversary of the Trickster Art Gallery at Town Square. Falling apart.
No surprises, huh?
So, good evening, and thank you for, a couple of runaways, huh? Thank you.
Running off.
Thank you for allowing me a few minutes of your time. We just wanted to say thank you on behalf of Trickster Art Gallery for the tremendous support from the village. We hope we are also reciprocating that and providing a lot of opportunities for the village and interacting with, we do with scouts, with schools, especially with kids, the teens, with the coalition, not only of the village of Schaumburg, with the Schaumburg Township, working with them and giving them positive opportunities to stay out of mischief and away from drugs. So we hope to continue to do that in many ways and bring some great exhibits. This coming July, we have a Smithsonian exhibit coming. Excuse me. That is around a veterans exhibit that they put together. So we've hosted the National Library of Medicine in the past from Washington, D.C., and several other really good exhibits. Locally, working with the Art Institute of Schaumburg, they just hosted a graduation art exhibit. So we're trying to give kids of all ages the opportunity to work within and use the gallery space. So we want to continue to do that. One we've just recovered from is the elections. So those were many hours, but well worth it.
There, right?
Pardon me?
You were a polling place.
We were, early voting. So we enjoyed that, and that's another great way to have Village of Schaumburg residents come and see our facility. So we greatly appreciate the lease that you provide for us. And we had a certificate of thank you for each of you and some of the gifts that went rolling around here. So bear with me here. Brian, could you give me a hand with some of these? They didn't go flying around.
There's nothing alive in there, is there?
Not in this one. I think it's in here. But we wanted to give you a little thank you certificate on behalf of the Trickster Gallery. And then the gifts here that are still alive.
Thank you.
Are what we call emergency smudge kits for us. And they're also attached as our veterans pin
Thank you.
that we give to all the veterans that and community members that say we support veterans. There's a feather. And inside the kit,
Thank you.
sure, is we use sage to smudge down when we're feeling negative. So there's a little bit of sage in there. The shell is what you can burn it in. And what you do is you fan yourself down, and that helps bring in good feelings and anything that might be negative stuck to you, it brushes it away. We wanted to offer that gift and the certificate. In the certificate is probably one of our most popular pieces of art from Bunky Echo Hawk. And what it is a depiction of what if Yoda was Indian. So he's a very contemporary artist, very well known around the world. And so we thought that would be a great piece to share with all of you, because he's a wise man, so, and how Yoda looks at the world. So we thank you for welcoming us here to the Village of Schaumburg.
I know you've been asked before, but I think for the record, let's try it one more time. Why the name Trickster? Where did that come from?
Oh, sure. That is the number one question of all our visitors, so we have a nice little plaque. But Trickster is a spiritual educator, and we use the coyote in this area as the teacher. People like to put tangible things to understand what they are. So the coyote is a crafty, tricky animal, and the trickster is something that challenges you, especially in the arts. So we could all look at a piece of art and see something different. And when you walk away and you rethink about that, it challenges you to think about what the artist was trying to say or what you interpreted. So that's the trickster at work. He creates that Y in the road and doesn't always give you the right answer. It makes you think about it. The other thing is we did our research and chose trickster because in every culture there is the concept of a trickster. So it's our way of saying everyone is welcome. But we want people to think culturally. So when they come in, it's not only learning about native culture. We ask the kids and people to share with us about who they are as culturally. And then give them the challenge to look up a trickster.
Oh, thanks, Joe.
Yep. Any other questions?
I got one.
Sure.
Bunky Echo Hawk, did you say?
Yes.
Is that a nickname for Brummett, or was that a relative of his? Brummett Echo Hawk?
Brummett was, it may have been another relative, I don't know. But they're from the Pawnee in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think he's deceased.
So he might be a cousin.
Yeah, I think Brummett is deceased now, but he was quite the artist back in my young days.
That could be. The whole family, I mean, Walter is a great artist, his dad, also an attorney.
Yeah, Gilcrease in Tulsa is full of their stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Appreciate the presentation.
Thank you, and I thank you again.
All right.
Thanks, Joe. Take care.
Liquor license request from Mr. Kermit Chapelashki, or something like that, for Class F for one-day liquor license for blah, blah, blah.
Jayalakshmi?
Thank you, I'll take that. For an East Schaumburg Road, new licensee. What are your plans for that location?
It's an Indian restaurant, and we are trying to complement our food with beer and wine. And actually, there's Mrs., my wife. I'm representing my wife. There's Mrs. J. Lakshmi Kalagara, and my name is Krishna Kalagara. And we are seeking the board approval to get permission so we can serve our customers with beer and wine to complement our Indian food.
Any questions from the board? Any objections from the board? You want to pick up the necessary paperwork from the Liquor Commissioner's office to be a background check by the police department, positive response on that, as well as evidence that you pay the appropriate fee. The license will be issued.
And I will. Thank you.
Sir, could you put your name on that sign-in sheet before you leave? Thank you.
You have attached to the regular agenda, consent agenda. We'll take one motion from the village board to approve all the items on the consent agenda. If someone has a concern or a question about an item, please indicate that to me, and we'll put it on the board agenda for committee reports. Okay. And now I turn this over to Marilyn Carr.
The correspondent consent agenda, number one, correspondence. The motion would be to approve the request from the Sadie McCann Fund to hold a raffle on April 28th, 2018 at Ram Brewery, 1901 McConnell Parkway, and to waive the fidelity bond requirement. B, the motion would be to approve the request from St. Matthew Parish to hold raffles on the first Sunday of each month from July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019 at St. Matthew Church, 1001 East Schaumburg Road, to grant a variance to Code Section 117.31 and to waive the fidelity bond requirement. 2, proclamations. Public Works Week, May 20th to 26th, 2018. 3, Engineering and Public Works Committee. The motion would be to award the bid for the 2018 Street Improvement Program, contract number 1, to the lowest responsible bidder, Flote Construction Incorporated of Hoffman Estates, Illinois, and authorize the issuance of a purchase order in the amount of $4,303,190.96. B, the motion would be to award the bid for the 2018 Street Improvement Program, contract number 2, to the lowest responsible bidder, Arrow Road Construction Company of Mount Prospect, and authorize the issuance of a purchase order in the amount of $3,881,289.19. C, the motion would be to approve a non-exclusive license agreement between the Village of Schaumburg and the Schaumburg Park District for the Polk Brock Park water meter transmitter repeater installation and improve the required resolution. D, the motion would be to waive competitive bidding, award the purchase of a painting services for the Village of Schaumburg Vehicle Maintenance Facility, VMF Garage, and approve issuance of a purchase order to Capital Painting and Decorating Incorporated of Montgomery, Illinois, in the amount of $54,560. E, the motion would be to reject all bids and rebid for the HVAC maintenance services. 4, the Plan Commission. The motion would be to approve floor area ratio FAR credits, floor area ratio FAR variation, and setback variation for 61 Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Square PUD. B, the motion would be to approve floor area ratio FAR credits, floor area ratio FAR variation, and setback variation for 53 Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Square PUD. C, the motion would be to, excuse me. The motion would be to approve a front yard setback variation, principal structure, existing home and addition, and accessory structure, front porch addition, and a rear yard setback variation, principal structure, existing home and addition, 118 Leela Lane. D, the motion would be to approve a replacement of the village comprehensive plan. 5, Zoning Board of Appeals. Motion would be to approve a special use for type A restaurant and a parking variation for Napoli per Titi, 181 North Barrington Road. 6, Old Schaumburg Center Commission. The motion would be to approve an architectural approval for 53 Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Square PUD. B, the motion would be to approve an architectural approval for 61 Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Square PUD. 7, resolutions. The motion would be to adopt as Resolution R-18-033, authorizing a subrecipient agreement with Children's Advocacy Center, November 1st, 2017 to November 15th, 2018. B, the motion would be to adopt as Resolution R-18-034, approving a non-exclusive license agreement between the Village of Schaumburg and the Schaumburg Park District for the Polk Brock Park water meter transmitter repeater installation. 8, ordinances. The motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as Ordinance 18-038, granting a floor area ratio FAR credits, floor area ratio FAR variation, and setback variation for 61 Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Square PUD. B, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as Ordinance 18-039, granting a floor area ratio FAR credits, floor area ratio FAR variation, and setback variation for 53 Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Square PUD. C, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 18-040, granting a front yard setback variation, principal structure, existing home and addition, and accessory structure, front porch addition, and a rear yard setback variation, principal structure, existing home and addition at 118 Leela Lane. D, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 18-041, replacing the Village of Schaumburg Comprehensive Plan. E, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 18-042, granting architectural approval for 53 Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Square PUD. F, the motion would be to waive as first reading and adopt as ordinance 18-043, granting architectural approval for 61 Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Square PUD. G, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 18-044, granting a special use for type A restaurant and a parking variation for Napoli Pertiti, 181 North Barrington Road. This concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
A motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Will the clerk please poll the board?
Trustee Kozak?
Aye.
Trustee Conley?
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan?
Aye.
Trustee Dunham?
Aye.
Trustee Naday?
Aye.
Trustee Daly absent.
We have a quorum still. Committee reports. Any committee reports that come before the board? Comments from the audience. If you have a question or concern about an item in Schaumburg, please come forward and let us know about it so we can take the appropriate action. Council report.
I have no report, Mayor.
President's report, I have no report. Manager's report.
I have just a few items I want to mention this evening as part of the manager's report. First, I want to commend village staff, but especially Commander Chris Provenzano from the police department for the work that they were required to do over the past several days to help organize and coordinate the March for Our Lives event that was held here in Schaumburg over the weekend. The event, as I understand it from the police department, drew about 450 people. It was a very peaceful march and for the most part, not a burden on the village or village staff in any way. However, it was an event that required the efforts of a lot of staff to put together and coordinate at the last minute. Attorney Molina was definitely involved. I know Julie Fitzgerald and her staff had to spend some time on the event. But as I said, most of the coordination took place in the police department, and Commander Provenzano certainly has my thanks and my appreciation for the work that she did in making sure that the event was held in a very safe and orderly fashion. Second, I want to congratulate and commend the fire department, Chief Walters, Deputy Chief Schultz, Deputy Chief Johnson, on receiving accreditation a couple of weeks ago. They attended the Commission on Fire Accreditation International hearing down in Orlando, Florida. And I know what you all may be thinking. Florida this time of year was fun, but it was pretty cold down there at the time we were there. But they worked hard to achieve accreditation over the past 2 or 3 years, and it's a very significant achievement for them as a department and for us as a village. Schaumburg is now one of the few communities in the nation who has accredited departments in fire, police, and engineering and public works. So I want to commend all of those departments, but specifically Chief Walters and his staff at this time. And finally, I just want to remind everyone that the Volunteer of the Year Award Luncheon is coming up on April 18th. Tickets are now available, and we have the living legend, Bill Curtis, coming to address the group. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Bill Curtis speak. He's been one of my favorite newscasters and narrators for a long time, so I'm looking forward to meeting him and hope that everybody takes the opportunity to buy a ticket and come and hear him as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Brian. Any new business to come before the board? Any unfinished business? Trustee comments and mentions?
Yes.
Trustee Dunham.
I'd like to welcome Marilyn Carr back.
Thank you.
We missed you.
I missed everybody.
Glad you're on the mend and feeling better and.
Yep, thank you.
Any other comments, company trustees? A motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, thank you folks. Nice job, Brad. Thank you.
Yeah, so you gotta be